Sorry, thank you, folks. Just had to do a little intern business here. Lucky is wanting to go in, so that's a good sign. Um, I just want to say a couple things. There was a question: are the bears eating berries, or the berries ripe yet? Right now, they're eating dogwood leaves. They've just been eating those like crazy. Holly usually eats the berries and then gets a little sick afterwards when they're not ripe. But they do eat the berries of the dogwood. But they recently, well, Holly, Lucky, and Tasha have been eating the leaves. Right now, the woodland strawberries are ripe. They're very ripe, actually, and there are some growing on the backside of the enclosure. And the serviceberry are just starting to turn. And there is a nice bush of those just in back of the falls here. If you go to the middle where the deadfall is and then pan to your left, the bush right in front of the kind of the two black trees there, the aspens, are that's a serviceberry. And there are berries on it this year. Okay, to get to the questions. When Lucky comes to Ted's fence and Ted reacts by shaking his head and running, is that because Tasha is the estrus or just because of the two males? The two, Lucky and Ted, have never gotten along very well since Lucky turned 3 and started hurting Ted. Ted has a trust issue with Lucky. Occasionally they're buds and they will lick each other's heads, but right now Lucky has been kind of bullying Holly and he's bullying Ted. So it's just a behavior that we experience after Holly says no, and it's, you know, he thinks that he can go ahead and mate with her however many times he wants. She did allow him to mate, and now she says that's it. So there's been lots of vocalization between the two, and she is keeping her distance. But Ted is just as bullheaded as Lucky, and he knows what he wants, and so he does defend himself through the fence, of course, and they're butting heads and being very vocal. Next question. When we saw we saw Tasha digging in a log behind the middle of the falls this morning, and she seemed to get stung. Well, there are probably stinging ants, and there may be some ground hornets back there, but definitely if she was digging in a log, it was probably ants. Holly has been digging over near, there's a large tree trunk over near her cabin den, and she was really into that yesterday. So the ant pupae is probably, you know, very, very being productive around here, and that's one place, a good place to dig for them is in the logs. So I hope that does answer your questions, but we do have ground hornets in and about the waterfalls area. The next question, have you noticed the special bond between the bears and the interns? We have always been very, very fortunate to have wonderful interns. Each year they seem to exceed the year before. And this year I have just been very fortunate to have interns that they speak softly to the bears. They understand through watching behaviors, and we explain what is going on so they know what to look for. And they have been very, very good on their observations and speaking softly to the bears. It makes a big difference when you raise your voice or when you're speaking normally to the bears, and the bears respond so well to that soft voice. It's just unbelievable. And that makes a big difference when they're talking to the folks here that come to visit. It makes a difference when they're doing a broadcast. They can say, well, this is what Lucky's doing, or this is what Holly's doing, or this is why they're doing something. It makes a big difference in them bonding with these bears, and it's very, very important. And I know one of the questions that you had asked that I gave each of the interns to answer so that you know that they know their stuff here is the bond between them. Each of the bears have chosen someone, and they have chosen bears that they seem to respond the best to. So it goes both ways here. there's another question is, there was quite a bit of interaction between Holly and Tasha this morning. It was just play. So the girls are getting ready to be let out together again. Estrus is almost over for Tasha. And we are going to make sure that everything is safe. Last year it was July 10th when we introduced them. This year it'll be a little later, simply because Tasha went in mid-June, and I won't be here on the 10th. So I want to thank everyone for the questions, and especially the questions for the interns. It seems kind of invasive when you think about it, but you know what? These interns are strong, and they have a strong desire to please not only the bears, but the folks listening. So all your questions are good, and we thank you for sending them in. And each one of the interns has a copy of the questions, and they'll be putting the questions into their broadcast as we move forward. So thank you, and we'll see you at 12:30 tomorrow, and we hope that we have a bear for you. Thank you.